High School Centurions. We see the coin toss on the field. And we're just about ready to start action here. Westlake is 1-1 going into this game. They lost to West Torrance their first game, and they won last week. Saugus High School, on the other hand, is a highly touted high school team, number 3 in the CIF, and they're undefeated so far with 1 win under their belt. So Saugus will kick off. And kicking off for the Saugus Centurions will be Chris Antelotti. So it's a whole day of football action for you on this Sunday as we bring you the West game, immediately followed by California Lutheran College football. And we're just about ready to get underway here as the Westlake Warriors take on the Saugus High School Centurions. Angelotti is about to kick. Jamin McNeil and Brandis Rose back deep to receive. It's a high short kick. Goes to McNeil. McNeil gets about to the 26-yard line before he's brought down by number 86, Brad Hoschmidt. So the Warriors will start off 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. Steve Chop, the senior quarterback, 6'0", 190 pounds. He'll lead the team off. Fumble on the first play, and it's recovered by Saugus. So Saugus recovers the fumble on the first play up at the 20-yard line. So this is definitely a big break for Saugus. Looked like the snap from center just didn't get to the quarterback, Chop. Either that or a little bit of mix-up. It's still early in the season for both teams. Brad Gallagher is the quarterback, bringing the team up to the line for the Saugus Centurions. Gallagher hands off to a setback. It's a fake handoff, fake this sportscaster out. Pass play to number 46, who is Mike Gibson. So Gallagher wastes no time in going back to pass. 2nd and 10 for the Centurions. Early in the game at their own, or at the Westlake 24-yard line. Gallagher pitches back to his setback, Robert Bradshaw, and Bradshaw gets nothing on the play as he's tackled on the play by Phil Whiteley. A loss of about 2 on the play, so that'll bring up a 3rd and 12 situation for the Saugus Centurions. So this is going to be definitely a passing situation for the Centurions. Into the game rated number 3 in the CIF. Let's see what they can do on this one. And there's a penalty flag on the field. Too much time is the call. So that's going to put them back another 5, which doesn't help them at all. It'll be a 3rd and 17 situation for the Centurions, who got that big break on a Westlake fumble. First play of scrimmage, the Westlake offensive team fumbled and gave the ball to the Centurions deep in Westlake territory, and the Centurions have yet to take advantage of that. Gallagher goes back to pass. Looking for his receiver downfield, who is David Plockton, and the ball is overthrown. Let's see what Saugus is going to do now. If they go for it, it'll be 4th and 17. I don't see a kicker coming out. Gallagher is waiting for instructions on the sideline. And he gets the play from the coach as Gary Grayson comes in. So they're going for the gusto early in the game. 4th and 17 for Gallagher and his troops of Saugus High School. And Gallagher hands off to his setback, Bradshaw, and Bradshaw gets absolutely nothing on the play. There to meet him was number 51, Craig Slavin. And Slavin gave Bradshaw a nice hello and welcome to Thousand Oaks High School. So the Warriors will get the ball back as the defense held a Centurion offense. 1st and 10, their own 32-yard line of play. Bakos the ball carrier as he fumbles. So Westlake's got off to a rather rocky start here in the game. And again, the Westlake defense is going to be tested. So Westlake's only run 2 plays off the line of scrimmage, and both plays have been fumbles. And that offense can't afford to do that deep in their own territory. So the Centurions will have a golden opportunity at the Westlake 33-yard line of play. As Gallagher gives to Bradshaw once again, and Bradshaw is stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and he fumbles on the play. Let's see what the referee says. It's Westlake. And recovering that fumble on the play was Craig Slavin. Craig is 6'2", 201 pounds, and he's a senior at Westlake High School, so the Westlake Warriors get a little lucky as this sloppy game continues. 1st and 10 for the Warriors on their own 38-yard line of play. Chop is back, and he is sacked immediately by number 78, Sean Gibson, but there is a flag on the play. Might be against that defensive lineman for grabbing the face mask. And the sportscaster is wrong once again. It's a clipping penalty against the Warriors. So that's a 15-yarder. And we'll have a 1st and 25 situation for the Warriors as they're getting off to a rather shaky start. We've had 3 fumbles in the first 3 minutes of the game. 2 from Westlake, both given up, and 1 from Saugus, which was given up. So both teams are going to have to get their offensive unit going in order to do anything in this game. This is Westlake's 3rd game and Saugus' 2nd game of the season. And Gallagher hands up off the middle. McNeil was the ball carrier. And he gets about 2 yards, which isn't going to help him much, as he has about a 2nd and 27 situation. Let's see what Chop can do this time. And McNeil once again up the middle. Gary Grayson on the tackle. Gain of about another 2, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 26 for the Warriors. And it's definitely going to be a passing situation for Steve Chop and troops. So let's see what George Contreras, the coach of Westlake, has stewed up here. They're going to keep it on the ground. Scott Winkler was the ball carrier. Scott gets about 5 yards before he's brought down by Steve Tompkins. So it's a gain about 3 on the play, 4th and 22. As the Warriors are going to have to give it up on a punt, but it's better than giving it up on a fumble. Alvaro Lavin's punt goes deep, back to the 30-yard line, to Danny Jones, who is immediately tackled on the play. And Saugus will start from their own 28-yard line of play, 1st and 10. So Saugus is going to have to get some offensive plays generated here. Both teams have looked very sloppy on their offensive teams. As Brad Gallagher brings the team up to the line, he's back to pass. Brett Whitehouse is the receiver. And Whitehouse is broken up on the play by Scott Whitworth. And Whitworth was right on Whitehouse. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 situation. It was a nicely thrown pass by Gallagher, but the coverage was just too good. So 2nd and 10 for Gallagher and troops as he brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. And the pitch back goes to Gary Grayson, and Grayson is still going past the 1st down marker and gets out of bounds at the 38-yard line. There was a late penalty flag went down after he went out of bounds. That definitely is a personal foul. We'll have to see who it's against. Probably would be against Westlake, so that might tack on another 15 yards to the play, which Westlake can't afford to do this early in the game. And that's exactly what it is, personal foul against the Westlake Warriors. So that turned into about a 35-yard play for Gary Grayson. So Saugus moves all the way into Warrior territory at their own, the Warriors that is, 41-yard line. And Gallagher goes back to pass. He's looking for his receiver upfield, who is Frank Rowley. And no go on that play, as the pass is a little bit long for Rowley. So 2nd and 10 for Gallagher, as head coach Al Hansen is calling the plays on the sidelines for the Saugus Centurions. Let's see what he's got in mind for Brad Gallagher on this 2nd and 10 situation. And Gallagher pitches back to Grayson, and Grayson gets nothing on the play, as he's brought down by Craig Campbell. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 for the Saugus Centurions. As Gallagher team up to the line of scrimmage. This is one of the first tests of the Saugus offense, as he throws the ball back to David Pluckton. Evidently what Gallagher was trying to do on that play was reverse back to Pluckton as he pitched the ball back, and definitely did not work. Tried to do a little bit of razzle-dazzle back there, and sometimes that razzle-dazzle can come back at you and get you right in the face. It's like one of those lemon meringue pies. So it's about a loss of 7 yards on the play, and the Centurions are going to have to give it up on the punt. Sean Gibson's punt goes back to the 15-yard line, where it was caught by Brad Whitestone. And Brad is immediately brought down on the play. So Westlake will have to start deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line to play. Chop's setbacks on the play are Jamie McNeil, who is 31, and Joe Skirvison. And that time McNeil carried it. Or Chop kept it for himself that time. Whatever the play, it was a loss or a gain of 1 on the play, just barely 1, as it brings up a 2nd and 9 for the Warriors. Chop is back to pass. He's got a receiver upfield. And the pass is complete to Steve Begley. And Begley was wide open on the play. He had 5 yards on his defensive end. So Begley gets up to the Saugus 30-yard line before he's finally brought down on the play. And Chop looked pretty good on that play. He got the ball right in Begley's hands. And if Begley was about 2 steps faster, he would have had a touchdown on the play. And there's some kind of penalty down there. Personal foul is the call against Saugus, and that penalty could hurt him in the game, as we have 3:11 remaining in the first quarter. And Westlake is driving down at the Saugus 15-yard line of play. And Jamie McNeil is the ball carrier on the play. And McNeil gets about 9 yards, so that'll bring up a 2nd and 1 for the Warriors. So the Warriors are definitely looking a lot better than they did earlier in the game. It's 2nd and 1 at the Centurion 9-yard line of play. As Chop hands up to Iverson. And Iverson is close to that first down. They're going to bring those chains into measure.
First down for the Warriors.
Oh, they changed their mind. It's a first down for the Warriors. So 1st and goal to goal for the Warriors at the Centurion 4-yard line of play. Let's see if they can put it in here. Iverson, the ball carrier, and there's not much as he goes up the middle of that Saugus line. So it'll be 2nd and goal to go at the 2-yard line of Saugus.
2nd and goal.
So I once again gets the ball, and there's nothing to it as the Saugus line stiffens up. And Iverson gets nothing on the play as it's going to be 3rd and goal to go at the 2-yard line. So we're glad to have you along on this Sunday afternoon as the Westlake Lawyers are on their Saugus 2-yard line, looking like they might score here. And Chop's going to keep it for himself, and Steve Chop goes in for a Warrior touchdown. So the Warriors had a sustaining drive, and they get a touchdown, and the first score of the game. So with 52 seconds left to go in the first quarter, the Warriors have a 6-0 advantage. as Jamie McNeil is in to kick the extra point. Sort of a weird lineup. McNeil went up back on his line, and we have a new kicker. And that's John Puckett. And Puckett's kick is up, and it's good. So with 52 seconds left to go in the first quarter of play, the Warriors are first on the board with a score of 7-0. So Westlake got on the board. It looked a little shaky in the opening moments of the game as Westlake fumbled on the first 2 plays of scrimmage and gave up both fumbles, but the defense stiffened up and Saugus wasn't able to penetrate. So Westlake gets a sustaining drive and a 7-0 lead early in the first quarter, or early in the game. It's late in the first quarter. 52 seconds left to go. So Puckett will kick off from his own 40-yard line of play. Back deep to receive for Saugus is Gary Grayson and Danny Jones. As Puckett gets the signal from the referees, and he's about ready to kick. It's a high, short kick, goes up to the 10-yard line. Grayson reverses to Danny Jones, and Danny Jones gets up to the 28-yard line before he's brought down on the play by the Warriors. So the Saugus Centurions will start from their own 28-yard line of play. 1st and 10. And there you see Brad Gallagher, who calls the signals. Gallagher goes back to pass. He's looking for his receiver on the sidelines, who is Stan Askew. A gain of about 2 on the play. So 2nd and 8 is the situation for Saugus. And that's the end of the first quarter of play. We have a score, the Westlake Warriors 7 and Saugus nothing. So a 2nd and 8 situation for Saugus, as we're ready to start the second quarter of play. Well, just about anyway. Referees have got to get the chains straightened out. So the teams have gone back to the huddles, and we're about ready to start. As Brad Gallagher leads the troops up to the scrimmage. And Danny Jones carries it up the middle. Or check that, that was Gary Grayson. Gain of about 5 on the play. So 3rd and 5 is the situation for the Centurions. Saugus has been running a relatively balanced attack, both running and passing. So it's up in the air as to what they'll do here. As Gary Grayson gets the pitch in the backfield. However, we do have a flag on the play. Grayson gets nothing on the play as he's immediately brought down. We've got an illegal block. Blocking below the waist is against the Centurions, so the Warriors will take this. or if they'll decline it and get the ball. The penalty is declined, so that'll bring up a 4th and 5 situation, as the Warriors will get the ball back as Saugus punting unit comes in. Dave Bakos is the lone deep receiver for the Warriors, and punting the ball for the Centurions is Sean Gibson. So let's see what Gibson can get off here. Gibson gets off a low short punt, and Bakos is going to let it bounce. Bounces dead at the 30-yard line of play. So the Warriors will take over at their own 30-yard line of play, 1st and 10.
A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that the Westlake Booster Club is selling nachos with cheese, peanuts in the shell, steaming hot chili and Warrior sauce, Pepsi-Cola and bubble up, hot chocolate, fresh brewed coffee, and a large selection of your...
So let's see what the Warrior offensive unit can do this time, led by quarterback Steve Chop. And Chop goes back to pass. He's got a receiver downfield. And Mike Carrazzo was the intended receiver. And it was good coverage by the Warriors as the pass fell incomplete. So 2nd and 10 for the Warriors.
At the 30-yard line, 2nd and 10.
So Chop threw a nice pass that time. Chop goes back to pass, and he's being chased in the backfield. Throws the ball away. The closest receiver was Larry Savanas. And Savanas was 10 yards away as Chop threw the ball away to avoid being sacked on the play. So 3rd and 10 for the Warriors at their own 30-yard line of play. There's 10:23 left to go in the 2nd quarter of play, and the Warriors have a 7-0 lead. As Chop hands off up the middle to Jamie McNeil, and McNeil is immediately killed on the play by Brad Osmet. And there's a loss of 2 on the play, so 4th and 12. As the Warriors are going to have to punt the ball away. And in to do the honors will be number 17, Alvaro Lavin. Lavin gets a high, short kickoff. Gets to Danny Jones, and Danny Jones is immediately tackled on the play. Beautiful tackle on the play by Brandon Rowe. And Brandon just got the receiver before he could even think of doing anything. So Saugus will have to start from their own 38-yard line of play. 1st and 10 for Brad Gallagher and troops at the 38-yard line of play. And Gallagher pitches back to a setback, Gary Grayson, and Grayson's got some light up the middle. Scott Winkler was the tackler on the play. Gain of 5 on the play, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 5 for the Saugus Centurions. Saugus has yet to have a sustaining drive here in the opening moments of the 2nd quarter, as the Westlake defense has stiffened up. And Gallagher's going to go back to pass. He was looking for David Plockton, and the ball was just overthrown. Good coverage on the play by Steve Begley, who is the safety on the Westlake defensive team. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 5 situation, or a 3rd and 5 situation for the Saugus Centurions. So let's see what head coach Al Hansen has in mind for the Centurions. And Gary Grayson was pitched the ball, and he tried to pass upfield to David Plockton. And the play was broken up, but broken up a little too hardly, as it was defensive pass interference against the Westlake Warriors. So that's a crucial error to make on a 3rd and 5 situation. Turns out to be about a 17-yard penalty, as they marked the ball to the point of infraction, which is the Warrior 38-yard line of play. So the Centurions are getting some field position here. 1st and 10 for Gallagher. And we have a little timeout on the field. And timeout is called by the Warriors. So we'll see if Gallagher and troops can do anything. Their Westlake 38-yard line of play, with just 8:28 left to go in the first half of play. As you see the Saugus cheerleaders. Saugus brought a relatively good crowd. It's quite a distance to Saugus, as they're just about ready to start action again on the field. I'd like to remind you that immediately following this game, we've got Cal Lutheran football, and Cal Lutheran will be taking on its arch rival, the Redlands Bulldogs. So the University of Redlands Cal Lutheran game is on immediately following, and we've got a full day of football for you. You're not going to miss NFL action at all. We've got good high school and college action for you right here on Store Cable, with a commitment to excellence. About ready to start play here as Gallagher brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. And he hands off up the middle. And Gary Grayson's got some light on that play. As he gets up close to the first down markers, we'll have to see when the referees mark the ball. They're going to bring the chains in for a measurement. I guess they don't even have to do that, as it's a first down for the Centurions. And that brings the ball up to the 31-yard line of play. 31-yard line of Westlake. So the Centurions are getting their first sustaining drive of the ball game. Gallagher goes back to pass. He's looking for his receiver upfield, who is Frank Rowley, but before he can even get the ball off, the ball is beautifully knocked down by the Westlake defensive line. So Gallagher will have to try over. 2nd and 10. Both teams had a little trouble getting started at the beginning of the game, but I'd venture to say that both offensives have improved about 110% since the beginning of the game. So we'll see what Gallagher can do this play. 2nd and 10. As Gallagher pitches back to Grayson, and Grayson's got some running room. We'll have to see what the penalty flag was. The whole thing might be called back. Certainly looks that way, as the referees blew the ball dead awfully quick. And it's exactly what the flag is going to do. It's going to bring the ball back. Illegal motion is the call against the Saugus Centurions. second and 15 situation for the Centurions, who will have to go back to the Westlake 35-yard line.
March off back to the 36-yard line for illegal motion.
As referee Pete Rosowski signals a legal motion. And he starts the clock up at 7:30 left to go in the second quarter of play. So the Centurions are threatening. If the drive keeps sustaining, at least they're just about in field goal range. Another 10 yards and they'd be about in field goal range. As Gallagher goes back to pass, finds his receiver upfield, who is Kevin Clark. Clark had to dive for the ball on the play and didn't come up with it. So a 3rd and 15 situation arises for Gallagher and his. So this is a critical situation for Gallagher. 3rd and 15 at the Warrior 36-yard line of play. So we'll see what Coach Al Hansen has in mind for Gallagher as Gallagher goes back to pass, looking for his receiver, who was Danny Jones, and the pass was overthrown by about 10 yards. So Saugus isn't even in field goal range anymore. And they're going to have to punt the ball away. Yet in to punt is Stan Askew. And Westlake has no one deep to receive as they're going to send everybody up to the line. And the ball goes out of the end zone for a Warrior touchback, and the Warriors will take over at their own 20-yard line. A play, 1st and 10. So the Centurions had something going for a little bit, and they got that legal motion penalty, set them back, and they couldn't recover from that. So the Warriors get the ball back with 6:56 remaining to go. 1st and 10. And Steve Chop keeps it for himself, and he's got some light in there. Looks like he has the first down on the play, and he definitely does. So 1st and 10 as Chop keeps it, runs up the middle, right up the middle of that Saugus defensive line. It's a beautiful play by Steve, who has got the ability to run as well as to pass. So it's a balanced attack for this Westlake Warrior team. And Chop goes back to pass, looking for his receiver upfield. Barry Fisher is the receiver. And the pass was overthrown by about 5 yards for Fisher. So a 2nd and 10 situation arises for the Westlake Warriors, with 6:25 left to go in the first half of play. As you see the Warriors coming up to the line of scrimmage, led by senior quarterback Steve Chop. And Chop hands off to Jamie McNeil, and McNeil's got some running room. So they're close to a first down on the play. Looks like it's going to be about a 3rd and 1 for Steve Chop and crew. It'd be very likely for Chop to keep it on the ground on this play and just try for that first down, as the Warriors are on their own 39-yard line to play. 3rd and 1 as they do exactly that. Jamie McNeil gets the ball, gains about 10 on the play before he's finally brought down by Stan Eskew and Danny Jones. So the Warriors get all the way into Centurion territory as they have a 1st and 10 from the Centurion 49-yard line to play. And Chop's going to keep it for himself. And Chop's got some running room. Gets about 15 on the play before he's finally brought down by Stan Eskew. Chop looks awfully good on both those runs. He intended the whole way to run it. He wasn't even looking for pass receivers on the play. And Chop finds himself at the Centurion 8-yard line of play as there seems to be some mix-up on the field. So it'll be a 1st and 10 yards to go at the Centurion 28-yard line of play as we're waiting for action to resume. And here comes Steve Chop, bringing his team up to the line of scrimmage here at Lancer Stadium. Hands off to McNeil, and Jamie gets 1 or 2 on the play. He's brought down by Joe Zopoulos. As you see, Coach George Contreras, he's the head mentor for the Westlake High School Warriors. So 2nd and 10. Chop gets a beautiful pass off to Steve Begley on the play. And Begley gets up to about the 9-yard line of play. So the Warriors are threatening to score once again in the 2nd quarter. So it's 1st and goal to go from the 9-yard line. So let's see what Steve Chop can do this time, see if they can penetrate that Saugus defense. And there was a fumble or some kind of mix-up up the middle as Iverson was the ball carrier. And it looks like the ball is recovered, and recovering the fumble on the play was Mike Richardson. So the Warriors drove all the way down deep into Centurion territory to the 9-yard line, and they fumbled the ball. So the Centurions got a lucky break, and they'll be starting from their own 9-yard line of play. 1st and 10.
At the 8-yard line, 1st and 10.
So let's see what Gallagher and troops can do here as they keep it on the ground. Gary Grayson, the ball carrier. And Grayson picks up 3 yards, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 7 situation.
The game near the 10-yard line.
As we have about 3 minutes left to go in the first half of play. Grayson passes, and he finds his receiver, David Plockton. And Plockton is close to the first down. And they're going to bring the chains in for this one. So it's very close to the first down. We hope you're enjoying our Stewart Cable presentation as the Westlake Warriors are taking on the Saugus Centurions.
And it's about 4 inches short.
So it'll be short, just inches. So officially, we'll call it 2nd and 1 as the Centurions call a timeout on the play. So they're going to think about this one. And again, I'd like to remind you that directly following this game is California Lutheran College football. And Cal Lutheran will take on the University of Redlands. The University of Redlands are their arch rivals, so it should be a thriller from Redlands, California, directly following this high school football action. Looks like they're about ready to start the action with 2:45 left to go in the first half of play. Comes Gallagher up to the line of scrimmage with 3rd and just inches to go against this Westlake defense. And the ball goes to Gary Grayson. And Grayson is close as he's brought down by Westlake High School, host of Westlake High School players. So we're going to measure once again. It's very close down there. It's too close to call from up here. And they're short about 6 inches on the play. So they're going to have to make a decision here. That is whether to go up the middle, to go around the side, or what to do with the ball here, as up the middle didn't work against the strong defensive line of the Westlake Warriors. So it's going to be 4th down instead of 3rd down. The scoreboard said 3rd down. So 4th and 1, and Saugus isn't going to take any chances since they're deep in their own territory. They're going to have to punt the ball away. And Jamie McNeil is the setback as a short line drive kick gets out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So the Warriors will have another opportunity with 2:08 left to go in the first half. They'll be at the Centurion 42-yard line, 1st and 10, as you see the Westlake High School coaching staff. They're the people that call all the plays, both offense and defensive plays. Most people don't know it, but defense has plays just as much as the offense has plays. As Chop brings the offensive line up to the line of scrimmage, and he's back to pass. Steve Bagley was the intended receiver on the play, and the pass was beautifully broken up by Victor Hugo. Sounds like one of those old horror movies. Victor Hugo. 2nd and 9 for the Warriors. As they're going to keep the ball on the ground. And the ball goes to Jamie McNeil. And McNeil gets absolutely nothing on the play as he's by John Zoopoulos. So it's 3rd and 9 for the Westlake Warriors.
Timeout, Warriors.
And we have a timeout on the field. So the Warriors have a 7-0 lead with 1:41 left to go in the first half. And George Contreras is out on the field. And stay tuned for our halftime show. We'll be showing the halftime in its entirety with the Westlake Warrior Marching Band. And George Contreras went all the way out. There he is. He went all the way to the middle of the field to talk to his players. Both coaches are out on the middle of the field. I've never seen that before. So both coaches, instead of one player coming to them, well, they went out and talked to the whole team. Seems logical to me. So 3rd and 9 situation for Steve Chop and crew with 1:41 left to go in the first half of play.
At the 42-yard line, 3rd and 10.
So Chop goes back to pass, and he finds Steve Begley. And Begley is immediately brought down
Steve Bagley,
by Brad Osman. And Begley gets about 3 yards on the play. 4th and 7. Brings on the punting unit for the Westlake Warriors.
4th and 8.
As the clock winds down to 1 minute left to go in this first half of play. And the punt is a high punt, and it goes out of the end zone for a touchback. So with 52 seconds left to go in the first half, the Saugus Centurions will have the ball at their own 20-yard line of play, 1st and 10. So let's see what the Centurions can do with just 52 seconds left to go. Gallagher's going to go right to the pass. He's got his receiver, Mike Chandler, and the ball is a little bit overthrown. Covering on the play was Dan Sifferman. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 situation with the clock stopped at 47 seconds left to go. There's a penalty on the field, and it's going to be a personal foul against the Westlake Warriors.
With 47 seconds remaining in the half.
So the ball will be brought up to the 34-yard line. Centurions, 1st and 10. As Gallagher goes back to pass once again. And Gallagher's got his receiver up the middle. It was Brett Whitestone. And Whitestone makes a beautiful catch. Gets up to the Westlake 45-yard line before he's finally brought down on the play by Bill Flandler. And Saugus is going to use one of their timeouts here. And we'd like to remind you, with just 40 seconds left to go in the first half, that our halftime show, the Westlake Warrior brand, will be brought to you in its entirety. So stay with us at halftime as we see head coach Al Hansen talking to his defensive lineup, or his offensive, excuse me. Okay, looks like we're about ready to begin action as Gallagher brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. And Gallagher goes back to pass once again. He found his receiver downfield, Mike Richardson. Beautiful pass from Gallagher to Richardson. Gets up to the Warrior 20, or check that, 31-yard line of play. There was a penalty flag. That was a late one, and no one seemed to see it. Both teams were up to the scrimmage, and the referees were ready to start the game, and head referee Pete Rosowski gave the signal that there was an illegal motion penalty against Saugus. So that'll put the ball back into Saugus territory at their own 49-yard line of play. So 1st and 15 for Chandler as Gallagher goes back to pass. He's looking for David Plotkin. So that'll stop the clock with 19 seconds left to go. And Westlake High School has a 7-0 lead. So with 19 seconds left, we'll see what Gallagher can do. He throws a screen pass to Grayson, and Grayson's got some room up the middle as he's brought down at the 31-yard line, close to a first down. And it is a first down, and Saugus is going to use their final timeout of this first half of action with just 8 seconds left to go. So a little excitement before the second half ends, as we see some of our fans, big as well as little, enjoying their M&Ms at Thousand Oaks High School as the Warriors take on the Saugus Centurions. We've got a pretty nice crowd here tonight. About 4,000 people out to watch the game. And Gallagher comes back into the game. He's ready to start the action as the Westlake defense assembles. And here comes the Saugus offense. As Gallagher goes back to pass.
No.
He's looking for Danny Jones, and the ball is intercepted, but that's the end of the first half with the score. The Westlake Warriors 7 and the Saugus Centurions nothing.
their drill team would now like to perform the George Benson title on Broadway with a solo by Harry Goldberg.
we're back to action here at Thousand Oaks High School with the Westlake Warriors leading the Saugus Centurions 7-0. We're just about ready to start the third quarter of action on Store Cable Channel 8. We had a fantastic halftime show from the Warrior Marching Band. So we're about ready to start getting under action. A little bit of rain at halftime. Subsided a little bit. Shouldn't affect playing conditions that much at all. As John Plunkett is ready to kick. And he's waiting for the referee's signals. And the kick is a high, short kick. Danny Jones has got it. He's still running. Gets up to the 38-yard line. He's just tripped up and goes out of bounds. Otherwise, I think he would have had 6 on the play. So the Warriors, the Centurions, will have good field position to start out at their own 33-yard line of play, 1st and 10. Centurion offense was just starting to get rolling as the second half ended. The half ended with Gallagher, who was the Saugus quarterback, throwing an interception, and time was out. So we'll see what Gallagher and troops can do in the second half of play. And Gallagher hands up off the middle to Grayson. Gary. And Grayson gets absolutely nothing on the play as he's brought down by Dave Bailey. Also in on the tackle by Jim Crowley. Loss of 1 on the play for Grayson, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 11. So Gallagher and crew will have to do a little bit better than that to penetrate this tough Westlake defense. Gallagher goes back to pass. He's got his receiver upfield, David Plockton. Plockton just couldn't hold on to it as he's covered on the play by Steve Bagley. And Bagley plays both offensive tight end and defensive safety. And high school players can do that a little bit more than they can in college, since they're only playing 12-minute quarters. And college plays a 15-minute quarter. So Gallagher's got a 3rd and 11 situation. And he's back to pass as he fakes the handoff. He's got his receiver upfield. Plockton, and he finds him. And the pass is completed. So that's good enough for a 1st down and a little bit more as Plockton gets a 15-yard gainer on the play. And thus far, Centurion defense or offense is moving. What I was going to interject was the Centurion defense will have to hold up against the Warrior offense in this second half. So Gallagher's got a 1st and 10 situation at his own 46-yard line. As Grayson gets the call, and Grayson's got some life. It's up to the 28-yard line. Correction, the 32-yard line. A little tough to see. I've got a post right in my face up here. So referees mark it about the 35-yard line. So we go from the 28 to the 32 to the 35. And you can see it all right here on the magic of television. So Gallagher's got a 1st and 10 situation at the Warrior 35-yard line of play. And it's a reverse. David Plockton. And that time it works As some of you can remember, it didn't work earlier in the game as Pluckton fumbled the ball and gave up the fumble to Westlake. So that time it worked and got about 5 yards on the play. So 2nd and 5 will be the situation for the Centurions, who are moving the ball.
Go, guys! Go!
So it should be a good second half of action. We hope you're enjoying it. I know I am.
Hey, Doug, go get James. Go put the toes on.
As Gallagher goes back to pass. He's got David Pluckton for a touchdown. So the Saugus side is kind of happy about that, as you can hear the crowds yelling and screaming here, as it was a pass play. 35-yard pass play from Brad Gallagher to David Pluckton. With 9:43 left to go, we've got a 7-6 ball game, and we're almost to the point of getting it tied up. And doing the honors here is Mike Gibson. So let's see if Mike can kip it in. As we're going to an odd formation, the same formation that Westlake uses. They line up on the left side, and then they come over to the right side to snap the ball. So let's see if Gibson can put it in for the extra point. And it's up. No good. Off to the right side and a little low. So the Westlake Warriors remain ahead, 7-6. And that could hurt the Saugus team if they don't score again. Just have to see what happens. A nursing class on Hickman and Cathers will be taught Tuesday, September 28th at Los Robles Regional Medical Center, Thousand Oaks. The class will meet at 7 p.m. and costs are $10. For more information, call 497-2727. The following announcement is a public service announcement from Store Cable. And we're about ready to start the third quarter, as Saugus has leaped out to score the first points of the third quarter. But they missed the extra point, so Westlake still has a 7-6 advantage. And we're waiting for something on the field. Well, it would help if they had a kicking tee out there. So I guess Saugus lost their kicking tee because that kicking tee came flying from the west side of the field. So we have a notorious tee thief in the crowd. So Mike Gibson's about ready to kick off. High spiraling kick. Goes back to Jamie McNeil. And McNeil goes up the middle. Gets up to about the 34-yard line before he's brought down by Greg Mall. So Mall brings him down about the 35-yard line, where the Warriors will have a first down and 10. Chop hands off to McNeil, who's got some running room on the left side. Danny Jones was the tackler. A gain of about 3 on the play. 2nd and 7. As Chop hands off once again. That time it was Iverson carrying the ball. He got about 2 on the play. We'll give him a 3rd and 5 situation. So let's see what Steve Chop can do with his 3rd and 5 situation. And Chop's going to keep it himself. And again, he gets some good running room. He's up to the 40, the 35, and 28 before he's brought down by number 22, Danny Jones. So Steve Chop has run 3 times in the ball game, and he's looked good all 3 times, gaining yards. So they might just convert him when he gets to college to a running back. 1st and 10 for the Warriors at the Centurion 28-yard line as that play grossed 40 yards. So Steve Chop brings the ball up to the line of scrimmage, as well as the team. Neal is the ball carrier. Maybe it's Dave Bakos. I guess it was Dave Bakos, and again on the tackle is, you guessed it, Victor Hugo. Gain of about 3 on the play, 2nd and 7. So the Warriors have still got a 1-point advantage with about 7:40 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 7-6 is the score. McNeil carries on the left side, and I'm positive it's McNeil this time. Tackle on the play made by number 86, Brad Osmond. They're close to the first down. Looks like they might bring in the chains to measure here. So as they bring the chains in for the measurement, looks like it's going to be just a little bit short. As the public address announcer says, it's several inches. I'll go with that, maybe 6. Well, the movie No Frames, No Boundaries will be shown at Thousand Oaks Library, 1401 Jans Road, Thousand Oaks, Wednesday, October 6th at 7:30 p.m. For further information, call 497-9555. The following has been a public service announcement from Store Cable. About ready to get back to action here. As hands off to Scott Winkler. And Winkler gets nothing on the play. I think he may have lost a few. And indeed he did. Lost about 6 yards. So it'll be 4th and 6 for the Warriors. And the punting team is not in. So Steve Chop and crew, with their 1-point advantage, will try for this 4th and 6 situation. And Chop doesn't get any running room this time as he's brought down. And in on that tackle was number 44, Kevin Clark. And Kevin Clark got Steve Chop before he could do anything on the play. So the ball will be given to the Centurions on their own 32-yard line. 1st and 10. So that's a nice break for the Centurions. As Brad Gallagher comes back in at quarterback. And Gallagher pitches back to Gary Grayson. There's a penalty flag thrown as Grayson loses about 2 yards on the play. He's tackled in the backfield by number 51, who is Craig Slavin. And the penalty looks to be against the Centurions. So we'll have to see what the referee's signals are. Depends what part of the country you're from. As you see the defensive lineup for the Westlake Warriors. Steve Begley, the man that plays both safety and offensive wide receiver. So the ball goes all the way back to the 14-yard line. And we'll have to get our calculator out to figure this one. Be about a 1st and 23 as you see the Saugus offensive lineup led by quarterback Brad Gallagher. And Gallagher goes back to pass, finds Grayson out of the backfield. Grayson gets up to about the 31, or check that, the 21-yard line, before he's brought down by number 79, who is Jim Crowley. So that gained about 10 on the play. We're going to have a, and let's see, about a 18. As you see the offensive lineup once again of the Saugus Centurions, who are rated number 3 in the CIF and about to be unseated if they don't do something with their offensive lineup here. As Gallagher goes back to pass. He had his receiver, Brett Whitestone, complete. Dave Siffer, man, was the person covering downfield. But the receiver was wide open on the play. His pass, Gallagher's pass, was a little bit long. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 18 situation. Gallagher goes back to pass. He's throwing long. Again to Brett Whitestone, and the pass was a little bit high. Brett made a good diving effort for it, or jumping effort. And Gallagher's pass was just a little bit too high. So Saugus will have to give it up on the punt. And in to do the honors is Sean Gibson. And Gibson gets a high, short kickoff. The ball will go out of bounds at the 44-yard line of Westlake Warriors. So the Warriors will take over on their own 44-yard line of play. So let's see what Steve Chop can do at his own 44-yard line. 1st and 10. And the handoff goes to McNeil. And McNeil gets about 2 yards on the play. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 8. Tackle on the play by Danny Jones. So 2nd and 8 with about 4:35 left to go in the 3rd quarter of play, with the score Westlake 7 and Saugus 6. As Chop goes back to pass, he's being chased in the backfield, and pass off. Pass was intended for Steve Bagley, but the nearest receiver was Danny Jones, who is on Saugus, and the ball was almost picked off on the play, as you saw. So 3rd and 8 for Steve Chop and crew, as George Contreras calls the play. Let's see what George has brewed up for him this time. And Chop hands the ball off to McNeil. McNeil doesn't get much on the play. However, there are some penalty flags down. We'll have to see what they are. Face mask is the call against Saugus. So that's a big break for the Westlake Warriors, who will get an automatic 1st down. And the ball will go up to the 38 line. of Saugus. So 1st and 10 for the Warriors at the Saugus 38-yard line of play. I'd like to remind you that following this game, it's more football action right here on Store Cable Television. That's right, at 4:30 you can watch the California Lutheran College Kingsmen take on their arch rival, the University of Redlands Bulldogs. So McNeil is the ball carrier, and he's got some breathing room in there. Gain of about 5 on the play. Bring up a 2nd and 5. So the Warriors, with their face mask penalty against the Centurions, have a lucky break and are moving the ball. Iverson was the ball carrier. Tackle on the play was made by Danny Jones. Brings up about a 3rd and 2 situation, as you see the Westlake High School cheerleaders cheering on a Westlake High School home crowd here at Thousand Oaks High School. And Iverson's got some room up the middle. Gets up to the 19-yard line before he's brought down by Victor Hugo and Brad Osment. So the Warriors had some running room in there. 1st and 10 for the Warriors. So the Warriors could score here. We'll have to see what George Contreras has whipped up for the offense. As Dave Bakos carries the ball. And Bakos gets a few yards. Well, they'll give him 2 yards before he's finally brought down. In on the tackle was Sean Gibson. So 2nd and 8 for Steve Chop and crew. And Chop goes to Joe Iverson. And Iverson gets into the end zone for a touchdown. That play was a little bit confusing. The minute that Chop handed off to Iverson, he was tackled on the play, and it didn't look like the play was going to do anything. So it looked like the defensive line of Saugus was a little bit faked out on the play. And Iverson ran into the end zone untouched for a Westlake Warrior touchdown. In to kick the extra point for the Warriors is Jamie McNeil. Check that. We'll give it to Dave Bakos. So let's see if Dave can put it in. The kick is up. And it's good. So with 1:35 left to go in the 3rd quarter of play, the Warriors have put another 7 on the board, and they have a score of 14-6. Techniques for starting a business in today's economy will be outlined in a group of seminars scheduled this fall at Pierce College. Procedures for analyzing small business investments and methods for taking over existing businesses' profitability will be discussed during a How to Buy, Sell, and Finance Small Business at Your Price. The seminar will be held from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Saturday, October 16th, and roll cost is $15. For more details, call 844-4455. That's 844-4455. The following has been a public service announcement of Store Cable Television. So we're about ready to get underway here as the Warriors put another 7 on the board, the 14-6 advantage over the Saugus Centurions. The kick is a low line drive kick. Gets off to Danny Jones, who fakes the reverse and is is cut upfield. Jones has got one man to fake out. And he's brought down, rather tripped up, at the 47-yard line, but there was a flag back about 10 or 15 yards. And it's a clipping penalty against the Centurions. Usually when you see a flag like that in the backfield of a kickoff, it's usually a clipping penalty. So that's a costly mistake for the Centurions. As the ball's brought up to brought back, they're going even farther. Looks like the ball was brought back from the point of infraction. That's the only thing I can figure out, because the ball went all the way back to the 18-yard line of Saugus. So Saugus, instead of being at their own 40, their own 47, they are at their own 18-yard line. As Gallagher brings the troops up to the line of scrimmage, he's back to pass. Finds his receiver out of the backfield, who was David Plockton. And Plockton gets a first down on the play. So that was a nice, short, sweet pass from Gallagher to Plockton. And the ball gets up to about the 25-yard line. All right, Brett Gallagher about ready to start. First and 10 situation at his own 25-yard line of play. And Gallagher hands off to Gary Grayson. And Grayson, a few up the middle, lines against this tough Westlake defense. That gave him 2 yards, as it'll be a 2nd and 8 yards to go. And the clock's rolling down. 10, 9, 8. As we're rolling through the last seconds of the third quarter of play. And looks like they won't get the play off. That's the end of the third quarter of play. And the Warriors have an 8-point advantage, 14-6 over the Centurions. See George Contreras, a comfortable 8-point pad. He is the head coach of the Westlake Warriors.
Kick some ass, offense! Go out!
So we have another 12 minutes left to go in the ball game. Saugus is going to have to come up with something, or else they're going to lose their number 3 ranking. 2nd and 8. Gallagher pitches back to Grayson. Grayson's got some running room as he cuts up the middle and gets up to the 40-yard line. He wasn't really tackled on the play. He was kind of tripped up by Steve Bagley. And Bagley was the only one left to go between Grayson and the end zone. However, Grayson gets a first down at the Centurion 39-yard line. All right. Grayson's going to pass the ball, and he throws an interception directly into the hands of Dan Stifferman. So that didn't pay off. Maybe Coach Al Hansen will think twice before letting his running back throw the ball.
Defense got to be tough now.
That play usually works in a college or pro situation, and some of the pro running backs have in fact been high school quarterbacks. But in a high school situation, it's very difficult to run that play to perfection. So the Warriors will hopefully advantage of that mistake, and they're at their own 36-yard line to play. As Joe Iverson carried the ball. And Iverson got about 3 on the play. 2nd and 7 for the Warriors as Steve Chop waits for the play. And coming in with that play will be Barry Fisher.
2nd and 7.
And Chop hands off once again, right up the middle, but there is a fumble. And it looks like, well, they haven't signaled as of yet. And there we get the referee signal. Saugus gets the ball. So Saugus gets a break here. And they get the ball back at the Westlake 8-yard line. So a strange turn of events as we saw Grayson, who is the running back, throw an interception to Dan Stifferman of Westlake. And then the Warriors fumbled on about the 3rd or 4th play. So Gallagher gets the ball back. Something went wrong on that play. There's a wire loose in somebody's feet. And we've got a legal procedure. Looked like the entire line went of Saugus. And that was probably one of the most blatant penalties we've seen in tonight's action. Hasn't really been too much of a penalty-stricken game. So 1st and 15 situation for the Centurions. We're going to have a timeout. We're going to give the referee a chance to put the flag in the pocket. And gives a chance for Jim Gallagher, or Brad Gallagher, to come to the sidelines to talk to Coach Al Hansen. Well, the Las Virgenes Homeowners Federation will be hosting a public forum for candidates running for election for the Council of City proposed for Agoura. The forum will be held at Agoura High School on Wednesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. Doors will open at 7 p.m. So that'll be at Agoura High School on Wednesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. and doors will open at 7 p.m. The following was a public announcement from Store Cable. We're about ready to get under action here as Gallagher brings the troops up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10. And Gallagher passes out. Almost intercepted on the play by number 82, who is again Steve Bagley. We've been saying his name a lot. Steve is 6'1", 171 pounds, and he's a senior in his last year at Westlake High School. So it'll be a 2nd and 15 situation for the Centurions as Gallagher goes back to pass. Finds Danny Jones upfield. And Danny was not the intended receiver. The intended receiver was Brett Beinstone. But the play was broken up by Dan Sifferman. And Dan broke up the play, got a hand on the ball. And then it was up to Danny Jones. And Danny Jones got the tip and the pass. So that was a very lucky play as far as the Centurions are concerned. And luckily, Irish might be turning their way here as they've got a 3rd and 3 situation at the Warrior 31-yard line. And Gallagher pitches back to Grayson, who is definitely going to run this time. And Grayson's got some running room. As a few missed tackles get him up to the 18-yard line of play before he's finally brought down. So Gary Grayson, with the exception of a intercepted pass. He's doing fairly well this game. So 1st and 10 for the Centurions. As you see, one of the younger members of our crowd tonight. We hope she's enjoying the game. Rick Ain, the ball carrier. Rick is 160 pounds, 6 feet, and he's a senior out of Saugus, California. So Rick gets about 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6. With 8 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter of play, the Warriors still have an advantage, have 8 points, 14-6 lead. Gallagher goes back to pass. Pass is a little bit high. It's intended for Brett Whitestone. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 6 situation. And Gallagher's going to have to keep that pass down. As you see, George Contreras, who is doing a brilliant job tonight of leading the Westlake Warriors. Gallagher's going to have to do something this play if the Saugus team expects to get back into this game, and he's going to do it. He's got his pass up, and it's intended for number 42, David Pluckton. And as you remember, Pluckton caught the touchdown to open the 3rd quarter. That time the ball wasn't even near Pluckton. So timeout is called on the field by Saugus, as quarterback Brad Gallagher is talking to Al Hansen. Looks like the Saugus team is going to try a field goal. And in to kick the field goal will be number 46, who is Mike Gibson. It'll be a 35-yard attempt for Michael. Holding on the play will be Robert Ontavoris. So let's see if Michael can put it in. I would watch for the fake on this play if I was the Westlake Warriors defensive team. And they're going to kick it, and the kick is up, and it's no good. Just a little bit short and off to the left side. So that's a tough break for Gibson and the Centurions. As time is running low, 7:39 left to go in the game, and the Warriors still have an 8-point advantage. You know, during the first week of October, satellite Earth stations throughout the country will be experiencing a phenomena called sun outrages. This loss of signal is due to interference from the sun. This is a public service announcement from Soar Cable Television. As Chop hands off to Iverson, and Iverson's really got some running room in there. Iverson gets all the way up to the 44-yard line before he's finally brought down by John Zoopoulos. But not before he gets to the 44-yard line of Centurions.
Defense! Defense! Come on, defense! Come on, defense!
Iverson again the ball carrier. He doesn't get much on that play. Victor Hugo again on the tackle. Gain of about 1 on the play. Will bring up a 2nd and 9. As we see Steve Chop bring the team up to the line of scrimmage. And Chop tries to run it himself. And he is stacked up at the line of scrimmage by Bubba Wassum. And Bubba is 180 pounds, he's 5'10", and he's a senior. So Bubba got the best of Steven on that play. And there was a loss of 3 yards on the play. 3rd and 13. As the crowd yells, defense, defense. So Steve Chop's got his work cut out for him. With 6 minutes left to go, 3rd and 13 situation at the Centurion 47-yard line. And Chop gets absolutely nothing on that play as he's brought down by Rick Ain. Well, they give him 2, but as far as things go, he needed a lot more than 2 yards, as it's a 4th and 11 situation. And the Warriors are going to have to punt the ball, and in to do the punting is Alvaro Lavin. And Lavin gets a high, spiraling kick. And the ball is bouncing, gets up to the 15-yard line of play. That's where the Centurions will have to start with 5:05 remaining in the game. And this is going to have to be a sustaining drive for the Centurions if they expect to stay in the game with the Westlake Warriors. I don't know about you armchair critics sitting at home, but I'm very impressed with the Westlake Warriors play tonight. The defense has been fairly stiff, and the offense is doing very well after the shaky start. As Gallagher brings his team, the Centurions, up to the line of scrimmage at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10. And the pitch goes back to Grayson. And Gary has a few yards up the middle. I'm going to give him about 4 yards before he's finally brought down on the play. 2nd and 6.
Let's go, son. We got it. Let's go.
So Gallagher's got his work cut out for him with just 4 minutes remaining in the game. And Gallagher goes back to pass, looking for his receiver downfield, who is David Pluckton. And the ball is beautifully intercepted, or just about intercepted anyway, by Dan Sifferman. And Dan made a great play. The ball was thrown a little bit short, and Sifferman broke up the play. So it's 3rd and 6 for the Centurions. And this is probably one of the most crucial plays of the game for Gallagher and the Centurions. The Gallagher goes back to pass, looking for his receiver, who is Danny Jones, but the ball is intercepted. And Scott Winkler was the person who intercepted that ball, making a beautiful play and perhaps closing the game out, as the ball is close to a touchdown. And officially, it's at the 1-yard line. So we have a 1st and goal to go at the 1-yard line of the Centurions. And let's see if they can put it in with just 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the game. So big break for the Westlake Warriors. Bill Iverson takes the ball in for a Westlake touchdown. So that about puts the game away as far as Westlake is concerned. as far as Saugus is concerned. With just 3:27 left to go, we've got a score of 20-6 in favor of the Warriors. What are they doing here? This is a kind of complicated play as John Puckett finally gets ready to kick. And the snap from center is good, and the kick is good. So with 3:27 left to go, we've got a score of the Westlake High School Warriors 21, and their visitors from Saugus High School 6. And if you wish to add home box office, Showtime, Cinemex, or the Movie Channel, please come to our Westlake office located at 3901 Agoura Road, Westlake Village. All add-ons and exchanges will be done at our Westlake Village office only. The following has been a public service announcement of Store Cable Television. As John Puckett is ready to kick, as the Warriors have a comfortable 21-6 lead. And the kick goes slithering along the ground. And a little bit hard to pick up for Danny Jones as he's immediately brought down on the play. And in on that tackle was Scott Kelch. So the Centurions will be deep in their own territory at their own 12-yard line of play. 1st and 10 with just 3:20 remaining, and the clock is going. New quarterback in the game for the Centurions, Russ Hagelon. And Hagelon is 5'10", 140, and he's a junior. So I'm sure we'll see Hagelon next year, and he's getting a little playing time. And Hagelon can't get his team up to the line of scrimmage in time. So it's going to be a delay of game call. And that'll put him back another 5. So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Hagelon and crew with just 2:56 remaining in the game. And another reminder, California Lutheran College football is next at 4:30 right here on Store Cable. The California Lutheran College Kingsmen will be taking on their arch rivals, the University of Redlands Bulldogs. I'll be there to call all the action. Stay tuned for that. Hagelon gets a play off at scrimmage, and something happened on the offensive line. They moved too early. So it's going to be an illegal procedure penalty against the offensive line of the Centurions. So that'll put them back another 5, as I said before. 1st and 15. 21-6, the score in favor of the Warriors, who have pleased the home crowd very well. We hope you're enjoying this football action as the NFL players are on strike. We aren't here at Store Cable. We're working hard to bring you the best pictures and the best telecast of each game. And while we do have a break in the action here, I'd like to thank our crew here at Store Cable Television for bringing you a tremendous broadcast of this high school football game.
A reminder that today's game will be broadcast Sunday at 2 in the afternoon on Store Cable, Young Lake.
As the defensive coordinator talks to his defensive team out on the field for Westlake High School. And junior quarterback Russ Hagelon is talking to Coach Al Hansen. So the Westlake Warriors look very impressive tonight, pulling off a 21-6 victory in this preseason. I say preseason because this is not a league game for Westlake. So Hoglund brings his team up to the line of scrimmage. Maybe he'll get a playoff this time, as it's a 1st and 18 situation. Back to pass. Pretty good arm for that Hoglund. Gets the pass off to Danny Jones. Nicely thrown pass by Russ Hoglund. However, the pass is incomplete. Well, there's another time when they fooled this sportscaster. And believe me, not the first. Okay, a 2nd and 18 situation for the Centurions.
Fire up, let's go!
And Hoglund pitches out to his side to Grayson. Grayson's got some running room. He gets up to the 29-yard line before he's finally brought down by Steve Begley. So it'll be a 1st and 10 with just 2:26 remaining in the ball game for the Centurions at their own 28-yard line of play. As Hoglund goes back to pass once again. The pass is high, intended for Brett Whitestone. So that stops the clock with just 2:02 left to go in the game. And I'm fairly impressed with this junior quarterback, Russ Hoglund. Although the last pass was a little bit high. Hoglund pitches out to the side to Danny Jones. And Jones is brought down in the backfield. In on that tackle was number 70, Phil Lang. Also Dave Bailey in on the tackle. Loss of about 4 yards on the play. And 14. As just 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the clock is still ticking here at Lancer Stadium. As a spirited Saugus team is about to go down in defeat. Not before Hoglund gets a nice pass off up the middle to his tight end, who is Bill Coxton. And Bill Coxton gets a 1st down up to about the 43-yard line. Tackle on the play again. Guess who? Steve Bagley. So just 50 seconds remaining in action here at Thousand Oaks High School. And the pass is intended for Whitestone. The ball is intercepted. And Steve Begley, who is definitely my player of the game, makes an interception. So the Warriors will put this game away and put it on the records. As their first string offense comes in, the ball is marked at the 49-yard line of the Centurions with just 30 seconds left to go. They might get 1 or 2 plays off. That's about it. And then we'll call it quits here at Thousand Oaks High School. And they keep it on the ground. Running that play was Craig Campbell. That's going to about